Shalom, I'm Miss Tracy, and it's time to learn about Sukkot, which is a Jewish holiday harvest celebration that takes place 5 days after the high holiday of Yom Kippur and literally translates to booths or huts. This year, Sukkot begins at sundown on Friday, October 2nd, and ends at sundown on Friday, October 9th. It is a week-long holiday. Sukkot dates back to a time when Israelites were commanded to make a pilgrimage to the Old Temple, and it marks the end of the harvest time, and thus of the end of the agricultural year in ancient Israel. Interestingly, of all the Jewish holidays, Sukkot is the only one whose date does not seem to commemorate a specific historic event. All in all, much of the ritual of the holiday revolves around rejoicing and thanking God for the completed harvest. The singular of the word Sukkot is sukkah. During Sukkot, it is traditional to build a sukkah or a hut, which is an outdoor temporary structure with at least 3 walls. This temporary dwelling represents that which farmers would live during the harvest season. The sukkah is also meant to remind us of the fragile dwellings in which the Israel lived during their 40 years in the desert after escaping from slavery in Egypt. The sukkah is built with a roof made of thatch or branches called shchach, which provides some shade protection from the sun, but also allows for the stars to be seen at night. One way to understand this type of roof is to think that God's light pours into this world, filling it with life, but we can't look straight at the light. It's blinding. It takes a partial covering, or shchach, to filter this light into a form we can appreciate, understand, and handle. Maybe the idea is that in our world, we can't see God, but we can see God's shadow in acts of justice and acts of kindness. In modern times, it is traditional throughout the Sukkot week to sleep in the sukkah, eat in the sukkah, study Torah in it, hang out in it, sing and dance in it. And in some places, you could even sukkah hop and enjoy food and mechaims all night long. The goal is to spend as much time as possible in the sukkah. And of course, no Jewish holiday would be complete without a festive meal, or 2, or 3, or 7. Ultimately, the enforced simplicity of eating and perhaps also living in a temporary shelter focuses our minds on the important things in life and separates us from the material possessions of the modern world that dominate so many of our lives. Traditionally, it is fun to decorate the inside of a sukkah with bright colors, flowers, hanging fruit, or even adorn the space with various forms of artwork such as drawings, colorful paper chain links, or even popcorn strands. Now for the symbolism part. On each day of the holiday, it is customary to honor 4 plant species with a shaking ceremony. These 4 species include the willow, the myrtle, the palm frond, which is also called a lulav, and an etrog, which is a type of citrus fruit that looks a little bit like a lemon, and it smells sweet, but tastes not so great. The willow and the myrtle are bound together with the lulav, and along with the etrog, they are pointed and gently shaken 3 times in 6 different directions to draw energy to the heart and recognize that God is in all directions. It is said by some that these 4 species represent 4 different types of personalities, and some say that they represent 4 different types of practicing Jews. Others note that the 4 species represent different parts of the human form, with the palm frond representing the spine, the myrtle representing the eyes, the willow representing the mouth, and the etrog representing the heart. And by bringing these items together, an individual can show their whole body's desire to dedicate themselves to respect and honor God. So it's time for us now to shake our lulav and the etrog. But before we do so, we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav al netilat lulav. Then we shake forward 3 times together, right 3 times together, back 3 times together, left 3 times together, up 3 times, and down 3 times. And with that, I'd like to wish you all a Chag Sukkot Sameach, Happy Sukkot, Toda Rabah, and Lahitraot. Thanks, and we'll see you all again soon.